All right, guys, my buddy Adam sent over a couple of G-Shock. The main one I wanted to see was this DW5750. So this is, all this really is a different case over a 5600. This happens to be, the red background with the negative display. This is actually a pretty cool watch. I like this colorway. But if you compare it, forget about, even if we compare it to this one, because they're both negative displays. They both have the same module and everything, but price-wise, if you compare this one to this one, I think they're roughly about the same price. So they're just over $60, somewhere between $62, $65. So I guess for the same price, for me personally, the Square is just way cooler looking. It's also a little bit smaller. So let's talk about that. So size-wise, the 5750 width, including these little nubs here, is 45.6 millimeter versus this 43.8 millimeter. So close to 2 millimeter wider on the round square. I don't know what else to call it. The lug to lug, no matter where you measure it, I went all the way to the plastic right before the strap ties into the case, and they're both at 48 millimeters. So lug to lug, they're going to be identical. The big difference is the width and then also the thickness. It's hard to tell here, but I think because it's just got a little bit more depth before it gets into the screen, you are looking at a 13.9 millimeter thickness on this, and that's the case. And this one's only 12.6. So over a millimeter thinner on this. And I know that may not seem like a big deal, and it kind of isn't. But on top of all that, these are more money. And these kind of popped on the scene, and then they kind of fell off. So I don't know if these are going to disappear. There's a good chance that they will. I'm not 100% sure, but I suspect the sales maybe weren't that great on it. I don't know. Where the Squares just nonstop. They can put out any collaboration, any colorway, and the Squares sell consistently. And there's a reason why, because they're cool. So let me give you a wrist shot of the DW5750. This guy is, I think, trending at like $62. But, it still looks great and wears great on my 7 1/4. And it would work for most people's wrist. So if you don't like the Square and you want the more round look, I think they have some other colorways of this one. Maybe this is a good option. And the strap to case fitment is basically identical to the Square. So if you wanted to throw a combi bracelet on there, you could do that as well. Versus the Square, let me give you a wrist shot of that. And they both have the same module. I'll show you the case back here in a minute. The Square just looks cooler. I don't know. I don't want to say I'm biased. It's just my preference. So the module used is the 3229. Should be the same on this guy, 3229. Although they don't function identically, but you go through the modes and they have everything. And there's videos out there explaining this module, so I'm not going to really go through that. But I did notice that like this guy up here, this says light on off and this says alarm on off. However that works. But the light button's actually down here. I can give you, it might be kind of hard for this to focus in darkness, but you can see it's totally legible. That was the round Square, and this is the square. So a little bit brighter on the round Square, but maybe it's just got a fresh, a little bit more life in the battery. The displays are identical. I think there's part of it is there's more going on here. If this was just a plain sterile black one like this, I would still like the Square more. I guess I'm just biased toward the Squares. So let me know what you guys think. Maybe you're a fan of the 5750. I'm just not. And I know I'm usually not a downer on watches or anything. It's still a cool G-Shock, but for the price, I would take a Square any day. So that's my thoughts on the DW5750. Not interested. Thanks, Adam, for sending these in, and thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next vid.